Any American or a foreigner in general coming to Russia for the first time is in for a series of surprises. Although in many ways Russia is very similar to the Western countries, in some ways it's strikingly different, and the differences are very visible. Here are 10 surprises that any foreigner will encounter when coming to Russia for the first time. If we're just meeting, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Letters to King. We're living in today's Russia explained by the insider you can trust. That's me. I'm the insider. The biggest and the best surprise about Russia is number 10. You will be really pleased to find out that this thing happens in Russia. So please watch this video until the end. Surprise number 1. Lack of spoken English. If you're coming to Russia for the first time, you will be surprised by how little people speak English outside of two capitals, Moscow and St. Petersburg. If you venture deeper into Russia, you will have a hard time understanding and being understood by the locals. You will have to use your sign language a lot, doing things like this. I'm a professional at sign language because I used it a lot to supplement my speech when learning how to speak English. If you want to be understood easier, it's a good idea to pick up a few words and phrases in Russian before you go somewhere far in this large country. This doesn't stand for Moscow and St. Petersburg. Spoken English is very common there. You will understand a lot as all menus at the restaurants, all information at the airports, at the official information spots, kiosks, at the train stations are in 3 languages usually. Russian, Chinese, yes, there were plenty of Chinese, and English. Surprise number 2, driving. When you come to Russia for the first time, you will find driving in Russia chaotic and plain scary. Although traffic rules are the same as in the other countries, you will find Russians driving very aggressively, having very little respect for each other on the roads, beeping a lot, and just chaotic, plain chaotic. Another striking difference is that not all cars on Russian roads are treated equally. The more expensive car is, the more respect it gets from the other drivers. For that to say, Russia is not the worst driving country I've ever seen. I find driving in Georgia and Ukraine worse, and if you want to see the complete disaster, go to Iran. It's really scary there. Surprise number 3, strong military presence. You will be very surprised to see people in military uniforms all around you, anywhere you go in Russia. Road police, investigative police, riot police, criminal police. Yes, there are so many types of police force in Russia. Cadets, military college students, customs employees, and military personnel all wear uniform and all heavily present in the Russian streets. Why? Very simple explanation. Russian government is so afraid of its own citizens, the taxpayers and the voters, that it needs huge police force to be present everywhere, sometimes armed, to keep the law and order. Welcome to Russia. To you, the people in uniforms will, in most cases, be absolutely harmless. They don't touch foreigners. They won't even touch Russians until they cross path with the government. Wow, it's cold. It's cold in Mother Russia. It's beginning of winter, early December. Surprise number 4 is the visual history of the past. No, there are many Russias. Right now we're living in current day Russia, but before there was communist Russia, before that there was imperial Russia. And those periods in our history are still clearly visible on the streets, in architecture. Most buildings built in the Soviet Union weren't visually pleasing. You still can see tons of the remnants of the Soviet Union anywhere you go. You will run into apartment blocks, the official buildings. They are blocky, gray, and generally ugly. In some cities with rich history, you will find some remnants of the imperial Russia. Old houses, like I'm talking about real old, 19th century, Moscow, well, St. Petersburg, of course, it's a gem. Most buildings are well preserved, and if you haven't been there, you should really go and visit. One of the most beautiful cities in the world. Wasn't really built by Russians, designed and built by the French and the Italian, but nevertheless. Moscow also has a great share of the imperial buildings, especially in the very center of Moscow. The Soviet buildings in Moscow are actually not bad, but if you go venture outside, you will see for yourself. You will see what I mean. Tons of bleak, gray, blocky buildings. If you find this video interesting, please like and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any further updates from Mother Russia. Oh, it's cold today. Surprise number 5 is strange eating habits. In general, Russian cuisine is very similar to European because Russia is right next to Europe. But some things that Russians cook and eat will certainly surprise you. How about for eating dead fish? Yes, it happens. I made an entire video about eating dead fish. Well, it's salt-cured dried fish, really. If you haven't checked it out, please consider watching it. The link is right here. Dead fish. Lots of deal in most dishes that Russians cook. Lard, pure fat, are only a few of very strange food that Russians eat. Most of the dishes are really tasty. So if you see something strange, you should not avoid it, and the chances are you will find it surprisingly tasty. Surprise number 6 is beautiful females all around. This is a stereotype about Russia. That's not really a stereotype, that's true. Anywhere you go, you will run into tons of different beautiful ladies. Different age, young, older, real old, but they will be very well dressed up with professionally made makeup, well, because they're professionals at putting makeup on. And even if you go to like a little village, you will most likely run into a good-looking woman wearing high heels going to a local bread store. Why? Well, because in Russia we like to say historically, it happens historically. Historically, it's just, you know, one of Russia's features. Freezing. It's few degrees below freezing. Windy. Whew. If you ever want to come and visit Russia, please do so in the summertime. Winter is great, but summer is so much better. Surprise number 7 is babushkas. It's also a stereotype that's not really a stereotype. When I first came to the USA and everyone was asking me if I was drinking vodka and if we had babushkas in Russia, it really surprised me, but well, yes, there are many very, very classical, traditional looking babushkas, old ladies wearing scarves around their heads. And I don't know, historically happens, but don't be afraid of them. They're usually nice and harmless. Surprise number 8 is littering. Oi, that's a bad one. Anywhere you go, most likely you will not find trash cans easily and readily available. So if you're eating something, then you would have to hold whatever you have left over in your hand and look for a trash can. Not very convenient. And a lot of Russians just throw things away in the bushes, on the lawns, or right on the street. That's terrible. But that's a thing that will certainly surprise you about Russia. Surprise number 9 is recycling, or rather the lack of recycling. Another unpleasant surprise. In Russia there is virtually no recycling. Russians put all their trash together. They mix glass, plastics, paper, food trash together and just in one bag and throw it away. That trash is taken away by specialized companies, thrown into a landfill, and just buried into the ground. There are lots of huge landfills everywhere in Russia, in remote areas. Not a good one, but, you know, you certainly will be surprised to see the striking difference about lack of recycling here if compared to the recycling rules and policies in the West. And surprise number 10, the biggest, the best, and the most pleasant surprise is Russian hospitality. You are for one big, huge surprise when you come to Russia for the first time. You will find so many Russians, complete strangers all around you, who will be genuinely interested in you. They will take their time, speak to you, help you, will ask you questions, will invite you to their homes, will feed you, they will drink with you, they will offer drinks. It's amazing. You've got to experience Russian hospitality and the curiosity and open-heartedness. Besides all other reasons, that could be one huge reason to come and visit Russia and experience the hospitality of the Russian people. I have yet to see one single foreign tourist who'd come to Russia and then complain about not liking it. All people, literally all people who come to Russia to visit, they coming back loving it. And I think that the Russian hospitality is probably the biggest reason for that. Thank you for watching Letters to King, and I'll see you next time.